Hello there, and finally I get round to doing another episode of the Britbox Diaries. Yes, if you've seen the episode about the Up series, well, great, you found episode 2. And I'll try and do the episodes more frequently, so make sure you like and subscribe. Plenty of programmes that I've watched on Brickbox, so the idea is I'll actually get round to talking about them. Because I do actually keep a diary. I should add the diary relevance to the title. I do actually keep a diary. I've kept a diary for about 16 years, and a bit like probably what different diaries do. I do writing when I've watched each day. I do. So using those kind of notes, since BritBox started, I've kind of got ideas to talk about what I have seen, including, I should say, Crossroads, which launched on BritBox recently. And I was lucky enough for my radio show to interview John Jury, massive Crossroads fan, and he was telling us all about the show and also the arrival of it on BritBox. So I'll be back at the end. Here is my interview with John. Now, I have been watching Crossroads on BritBox lately. They've put 10 classic episodes on there, and I wish they would put more on because it has been an absolute joy to rediscover the show. It really has. And I'm joined by John Jury, who is a massive Crossroads fan, to tell us more about the show. Hello, John.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on the show, John. Now, how did you get into Crossroads?
Right, well, that's quite interesting, really. I suppose I got into Crossroads because it was a Midland soap. I'm from the Midlands originally, from Telford, actually. And I always felt that Crossroads represented the Midlands in a really positive way. I know the North had Granada's Coronation Street, the South had EastEnders, but for me, the Midlands and Crossroads were so linked together that I really thought it was my soap. And I remember watching it with my mum.
And do you remember the first episode of Crossroads you watched, and when was it? How long ago are we talking?
If I think back, I can just about remember the motel fire in November 1981. I remember being in the news that Noel was leaving the series. It was sort of big back in the day, as I'm sure you or some of your listeners will remember. I was only sort of 5 at the time, but I remember it being a big deal, actually.
So that was quite late on into the ATV era, really, wasn't it? Before Central Television took over the show a few months later. But what is your favourite episode then from the whole Crossroads era?
I have to say Christmas 1979 ranks up there as one of my favourite episodes. I don't know if you remember, it's the one with the famous sing-along around the piano that they've somehow managed to shoehorn into Meg's sitting room. Some of the performances at the beginning of the episode are a little shaky, I suppose, but it's joyous, it's uplifting. There's no death, there's no murder, there's no explosions, so nothing like the Christmas TV episodes we're used to now. It's just people having a good time round the piano, generally feel-good TV. So if I had to pick one episode, it would be Christmas 1979.
I know exactly which episode you're talking about because last year on the Advent Radio series I do on YouTube, we used that very clip, and it's wonderful. It really is a joy at the end of that episode. Now, massive series, of course. I've seen the continuity announcements on ITV from the day it ended, originally back in 1988, and it was all very low-key. Should the series have carried on in 1988?
It's difficult to say, isn't it, really? It started in 1964, it finished in 1988. 24 years is a good run for any series, really. A lot of people say it should have ended in 1981 when Noel Gordon left. I enjoy that later series, if I'm honest with you. When it got to sort of 1985 and you had characters like Tommy Lancaster, Nicola Freeman, Charlie Mycroft, played by the wonderful Graham Seed, Darby, even the Grice family. I don't know if you remember those. It takes a long time to change a programme, doesn't it? And I think sort of by the mid-80s, it really had started to find its feet again. And, by 1988, there were plans to shift the action away from the motel into the village, sort of open up the storylines in a similar way that Emmerdale moved their action away from the farm into the village. I think probably on reflection, there was a lot more they could have done with the show instead of axing it.
But let's reach 2021, and it's great that episodes have arrived on Britbox. Which episodes can we see?
Well, Britbox has sort of put a taster of Crossroads on the site at the moment. Hopefully more will be coming on in the future, but you can watch things like Meg's Wedding from 1975. Remember when the whole of Birmingham came to a standstill to watch, this motel owner marrying an international businessman. Why thousands of people would have turned up outside the cathedral is anyone's guess, but they did. That's 1975. I've already mentioned Christmas 1979, my favourite. Christmas 1978 is in there as well. There are episodes just after Benny's fiancée died in 1977. Maureen, I don't know if you remember, she was killed. There's the Motel Fire episode from 1981 and Meg's last episode on the QE2 as well. So there's a real sort of selection of the best of Crossroads there. And, it's a good taster, a good way in.
I watched the one with Meg's Wedding, and I couldn't believe how many people, like you say, were on the streets just to watch this fictitious wedding and Meg as she came out of the church. It was brilliant. And the one where Maureen died, I thought was really touching as well, especially with the music. It really was. Obviously, a lot of episodes from the archive are missing, but do you think that any other episodes are going to be found in the future? Do you think there's still hope for that?
It's a good question. That lots of people are on the lookout for these missing episodes, believe it or not. There's a great archive TV organisation called Kaleidoscope, and they're based in the Midlands actually. And in the last year or so, they've found 4 episodes, or they've had 4 episodes returned to them, including actually the episode after Meg sails away on the QE2, and that's been sort of a holy grail of fans for quite a while. It's bizarre really that episodes from 1981 were wiped. I think there's another one just after that that's missing from the archives as well. The Crossroads Appreciation Society is very active online. They're always sort of putting appeals out, and I know they've encouraged ITV to look in their various storerooms in the past. So there's a lot of people looking out for these episodes, but of course it's not beyond the realms of possibility that listeners to the radio now might have recorded episodes, on early video recorders. There's a good chance, to be honest, if you record an episode before 1978, that it's missing. It might be worth checking if you've got any on old videotapes at home, actually.
That is a really good idea. If you have any videotapes out there in your loft or wherever, in your shed, dig them out. And it might just be, you might have even recorded Crossroads by accident, but have a look through them, because you, like you just say, John, it could be that you've got something on those tapes that isn't in the official archives. Please do have a look and get in touch with the Kaleidoscope or indeed the Crossroads fan club. Now, there was also a successful network DVD archive series which released all the episodes that survive up to the late 1970s, didn't it? It was very collectible. I wish I'd bought it. Very collectible DVDs. But do you think on a streaming service or even ITV3, like we've seen with other soaps like Emmerdale and Coronation Street that are repeated weekdays, like we've seen, do you think we'll see a part of a rerun of some kind of Crossroads? I mean, the last one was UK Gold, wasn't it? They repeated Crossroads from 1981 onwards, I think, and that was back in 1996 when I was at high school. But do you think that it could be repeated in the future?
Yeah, the video release. It was such a thrill to see these episodes from really the early days. I think 1966 was the earliest episode. Actually, no, that's a lie. 1965 is the earliest episode, episode 126. And the video releases went up to 1979. Obviously, hundreds and hundreds of episodes are missing, but it was just great to get my hands on the video box set and watch those episodes. Do I think it would do well on ITV3? Probably. Classic Emmerdale, classic Corrie have proved there is an appetite out there for classic soaps, and they do tend to do very well, I think. Obviously, there are missing episodes in Crossroads, but, from 1978 up to 1988, there's a complete run there, minus, the odd missing episode. I think it would be perfect for ITV3. Similarly, to be honest, I think Britbox is a great place to see these episodes now. If you didn't manage to get the video releases before, the DVD releases before, watching them on Brickbox is fantastic. And the good thing about Brickbox is, if this proves popular and if people watch the episodes, then, you know, there's every chance that we might get access to more of those episodes. So, yeah, I think, you know, Britbox is a great place for it. It certainly will let ITV know that there's appetite to watch the episodes, that's for sure.
Well, I'm with you. I think that Britbox hopefully will add more than 10 episodes. But then I like classic Coronation Street as well. And they haven't added any new episodes for a while. I think there's about 100 episodes in total from the 60 years. And I am crying out going, put some more on. But yeah, I think it would work on ITV3 as well. I think it would fit nicely alongside Emmerdale, Coronation Street. And like you say, EastEnders is on drama as well. So I think there is a market for it. Now, I tried to find clips of it when I was researching this, but I never realised that Noel Gordon came back to Crossroads 2 years after the motel fire in 1983, didn't she, for 2 episodes in Venice? And the plan was for Noel to return in the future, wasn't it? Is that right? Tell us, am I right?
Yes, that's right. Noel Gordon did return in 1983 for the honeymoon of Adam and Jill. There's some glorious shots taken on location in Venice, actually, you know, maybe pushing the boat out a little bit there, spending the budget. There were, again, also plans for Noel to return in 1985 on a sort of an occasional basis, maybe, you know, living in the village or sort of acting as an advisor to, I think, Nicola Freeman, the Gabrielle Drake character, was going to be a friend of Noel's. And, yeah, it would have been nicer if Noel could have returned. I'm pretty sure that, you know, although she was very ill by 1985 and ultimately couldn't come back to the programme, I think probably from what I've read, it would have been, you know, nice for her to know that actually the series wanted her back after all that, after the terrible way really that she was let go in 1981.
And I've been reading up on the revamped Crossroads, the kind of the 2001 era, in preparation for today, John. And I have to ask, what are your thoughts on that era of the show? Should the show have been given longer, perhaps, by ITV? What did you watch it? What do you think?
I actually liked the 2001 series. I thought it was a really great update for, you know, the 2000s. You had fantastic actors like Sherry Hewson in there, Roger Sloman, Neil McCall, Jane Gurnett. All these new sort of actors bringing new characters alongside a few series originals, Jane Rossington, Kathy Staff and Tony Adams. I personally would have liked more links to the past, so I would have kept those classic characters in for longer. Ultimately, Jane Rossington wanted to leave. She was in it for, I think, 55 episodes. And then they made the mistake, in my opinion, of killing off Jill. And then an even worse mistake in saying that Adam was responsible for that death. I think there were plans to sort of go back on that and reveal that Jill wasn't dead at all. I heard a rumour she was supposed to be working in a shoe shop in Edinburgh or something bizarre like that. I think I would have liked it to have more links to the original series, but by the end of sort of 2002, it had really started to find its feet, get its own identity. But a change in management at ITV sort of saw that series sort of stop in its tracks, and they revamped it again for 2003. I don't know if you remember the newspaper headlines, Dallas in Dudley. It went all glitzy and glamorous. It wasn't for me the sort of Crossroads that I wanted to watch, although actually there were some great characters in there. Jane Asher did a brilliant job. Stuart Milligan did a brilliant job in it. For me, and for a lot of people, I suppose it was too far removed from the original classic Crossroads by the time it finished again in 2003. That's what's great about Britbox, really. It's a chance to go back in time and experience all these great programmes from days gone by. So, yeah, Britbox for me, highly recommended.
Well, I do have to ask, because obviously you've touched on Crossroads from 2001 and it did kind of become Dallas in Dudley. Do you watch any of the modern soaps out there? Because I don't think I watch any. I really don't think I watch any at the moment. I used to watch Coronation Street, especially growing up with Mum and Dad, but I don't watch any, I don't think, now. What about you?
Well, believe it or not, actually, I don't watch any soaps really that are on TV now. I tune in for the odd occasional special episode of the soaps. If I'm going to watch anything now, it will be Neighbours, which I don't know if you know, has quite a few connections to Crossroads. The theme tune was written by the same guy, Tony Hatch. Reg Watson, who was the first producer of Crossroads, went back to his native Australia and helped set up Neighbours. So if I watch any soap now, it would be Neighbours, because it's just got that hint of Crossroads for me.
I haven't watched Neighbours for a long time, but of course Neighbours is under threat at the moment if you read certain reports, so let's hope they survive. John Drury, thank you so much for joining us, and let's hope there's more episodes that arrive on Britbox, and I'll have to keep an eye out. But thank you, John, really appreciated.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
So thanks to John Drury there for the interview, and I hope you enjoyed it. A bit of a Britbox Diaries special, but John certainly with more insight to Crossroads than I will ever have. But I do remember, like I touched in the interview, I do remember being a teenager, seeing the repeat start on UK Gold, and I should have recorded them. I started recording Coronation Street when they were first on Granada Plus. Kept the tapes for a while. Not got them now. Wish I'd kept them as well. And I certainly wish that I'd bought the network DVD editions of the Crossroads archive as well. They go for a lot of money now. But it's great that Britbox have introduced some episodes. I guess it's going to be down to how many people watch Crossroads as to whether we see more episodes. It's quite frustrating for me that Coronation Street, we've been waiting a while for more episodes, and no new episodes have been added in a while. We've seen a few early Emmerdale Farm ones added, not too many. More soaps have appeared in the last couple of months, like General Hospital, Take the High Road. So only time will tell. But there is no expiry date at the moment for these 10 episodes of Crossroads, so let's hope that more get added in due course. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be back with more Britbox Diaries very soon. Bye for now.